Why, hello everyone. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. All right, so this is a highly requested video. I get so many questions about the paper quality and the paper type in different coloring books. So today we're going to go over that. I'm going to explain to you and show you which books have what type of paper. So we have Creative Haven, Ava Brown, Coloring Book Cafe. We have the Nice Little Town books from Tatiana Stilova. We have Jade Summer coloring books. So those are pretty much the top coloring books, and if you have any other coloring books, they're pretty much going to be the same, or they're either going to be one or the other. But this selection of books will pretty much cover the whole bases. So let's get started. So I have divided these two sets of books, or this compilation of books, into two different sets. One set is the Create Space paper made by Amazon. Amazon printed paper. It's called Create Space. And the other one is Amazon Create Space paper by Amazon. I know you're like, okay, that's the same, Nisi, but there are differences. I learned not too long ago that Create Space has two different types of paper that you can choose to print your coloring books on. So some artists or illustrators use the Create Space created for or made for pencils or colored pencils. Then the other artists or illustrators use the Create Space paper that is made for multimedia use, meaning markers, watercolors, paint. That type of paper is usually very textured, almost like a construction paper feel, almost like a cornbread paper, like we used to call it back in kindergarten. You have cornbread paper, they had the lines, and then it had the little spacious dashes in between where you write your letters, large case and small case. Okay, I digress. The other one is the Create Space paper made for color pencils, which is a very smooth surface. And the texture of the paper is not very rough or jagged. It's a very smooth, clean, nice paper to work with. So let's get into who has what in their books. So let's start off with this set of books. All right. Nice Little Town. This is the first book that I received of, I only have these two books of Tatiana Stolova. I only have the first edition and Nice Little Town Interiors. I don't have any of her other books, so I'm not sure about the paper in the other books. Please comment below if the paper in her other books, Nice Little Town 2 through 11 or 12, I think it's up to now, if they have this type of paper in their books. Now, there is a little bit difference. It makes a difference when the book was printed. So, I tried to color this picture with my Prismacolors years ago, and I got so frustrated, I quit, because the Prismacolors were not laying down on this paper right. It was like smushing Play-Doh onto a piece of paper. It just was, and I gave up, and I was like, no, I can't color in that book. So the paper in here, it's not really textured like the Jade Summer older books. It's more like the Jade Summer newer books. It has a very slight texture to it. It's definitely multimedia Create Space paper, meaning you need to use a hard leaded pencil when you're coloring on these coloring pages. Now, this was created in 2017, so that's what she was using back then. Now, this one was printed in 2021 of April. And the type of paper in this book is so much different than the one in the Nice Little Town. It's like Create Space multimedia paper changed to be even rougher and more draining to your markers, kind of. I know some people love using the Create Space paper and they say it's okay, you know, the way that their markers react with it. But soft leaded pencils on this type of paper does not go well. And another thing that I don't like about this is she has the black backgrounds on this paper, and it gives like a gray outline to the picture, and it makes it look like dingy, and it makes it look like somebody printed it wrong with a border, and it's just, I'm not happy with the quality of this book. So I'm not sure if her other books are like this or are they different. Let me know in the comments. But yeah, you see how it looks kind of like it's not vibrant because the black is coming through, and it's not like that on these. You can see like a stark white difference. But the paper is definitely rougher, more textured in the newer books of the Nice Little Towns. But the older books is still textured, but a little bit less. So these are books that you will definitely want to use your harder lead pencils in, like your Polychromos, your Brute Funner 180, the Hero type pencils, maybe even the Shuttle Arts. And let's see what else. Like the Filas, Crayolas, those probably will do well in these types of books. So what I will do now is compare that rough textured multimedia type book to one of Ava Brown's books. Ava Brown uses Create Space paper also, but they use the Create Space paper that's for colored pencils. The paper is so much smoother. It's a little bit thicker and heavier than those in the Nice Little Town books. It's perfect for soft leaded pencils. You can use your Prismas in here and you will have absolutely no problem because the texture in this paper, it does very well with soft leaded pencils. So even with markers, I feel that markers lay down better on this type of paper also. So this book was printed in May of 2021. So we can see that it doesn't matter what year it was. I used to think that a long time ago, 2017, they were using that textured paper, and then comes 2020, 2021, they started using this smooth paper, but that's not true. Someone educated me to let me know that they have two different types of paper that the artist or illustrator can choose from. So that artist pretty much sticks with that type of paper throughout their journey, I guess. So let's go back to that multimedia textured type of paper. Now, these are the interior designs. Well, see, they have different names. This is Interior Designs with an S, an adult coloring book by Jade Summer. And this one is the revised edition because this one was horrible. This is Interior Design without an S, and it just says coloring book Jade Summer. Now, the paper in here, let's see when it was printed first. This was printed December of 2017. And the paper in here is very, very textured. You can pretty much see it. You can see the little grooves and so forth in the texture, but it is thicker than the Nice Little Town paper. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit heavier, but it's very textured. So that, no to your soft leaded colored pencils. And I started a picture in here. I showed you on one of my previous videos. Well, it was this picture, but it's not here anymore. It was this kind of picture. I started it with my Prismacolors and it was giving me the blues. I mean, it would not work. It was horrible. Felt like I was coloring with a crayon. So it was a no to soft leaded pencils with that type of paper. Now we go to their most recent interior designs book, which was created or printed in January of 2021. And this paper is like the newer, nice little town book. It's not as textured, but it still has a little bit of texture to it. So I would stay away from the soft leaded pencils in any of the Jade Summer books and go with your harder leaded pencils because of the rougher texture that they have, or use some multimedia. Then we have Coloring Book Cafe. This book was copied in 2020, and I'm not sure. Oh yeah, March 2021 is when this was printed. And this has paper like the paper in the Ava Brown book. The paper is identical. So if you have a Coloring Book Cafe book, then the paper is the same. You can rest assured that you can use your soft leaded pencils in this coloring book and have no issues in the Coloring Book Cafe books. And I have 2 of their books, and both of them have the same type of paper. And last but not least is our lovely, lovely, lovely Creative Haven coloring books. This, let's look at the date, see if there's something in the back. I don't think Creative Haven uses Create Space paper. No, they don't. But this is copyright 2019. And manufactured in the United States by LSC Communications. Yeah, I don't think they use Amazon. But their paper is really smooth. It's smoother than both the Coloring Book Cafe paper and the Ava Brown paper. Although these are smooth, the paper in the Creative Haven books is even smoother. It's almost like slick. So your soft leaded pencils will love this paper. It will just love it. And you can always use your hard leaded pencils in it too. It's just that the softer leaded pencils just do not cooperate, in my opinion, with those multimedia type Create Space paper. And the paper's thick, so the paper weight is about the same thickness and heaviness as in these 2 books also. Just a slicker feel. So there you have it. Ava Brown, the Coloring Book Cafe, exact same paper. It's smooth and it's nice. It has a nice weight to it. You can use your soft leaded pencils in it with no problem. So if you have one or the other, you know what you're getting. Then you come on to the Creative Haven coloring books, the Dover coloring books. The paper in these are a bit smoother, even smoother than the previous 2. And it works wonderful with your soft leaded pencils. So if you want to do a paper comparison, and if you ask, well, how is the paper in the Coloring Book Cafe book? Or how is the paper in the Ava Brown book? You can say, well, if you have one or the other, they're the same. Or if you say, well, how's the paper in the Ava Brown book compared to the Creative Haven book? It's a little bit smoother, but the weight and the heaviness is exactly the same. But the Creative Haven's book is a little smoother, a little slicker. Then you have your Create Space Multimedia paper, which is in the Nice Little Town series books and the Jade Summer books. The paper in these books are very, very textured, kind of gritty, kind of rough textured, because they were made for using multimedia art supplies or coloring supplies in their books. Mostly markers, maybe watercolors, maybe even some paints or stickles. They gave the page a rough texture so that that coloring supply can have something to easily stick to. But when you try to use a soft leaded pencil in one of these, you're going to have a little bit of issues, okay? So there you have it. What do you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think about the comparison of the Create Space paper for the multimedia use or the Create Space paper for the color pencil use. Let me know if you've ever heard of that, if you have ever experienced a difference in your coloring when you use one or the other type of the book, of these books, excuse me. So thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me today. Please don't forget to check out the next video right here so that you can see some more goodies and reviews and coloring tips and tricks that I have to offer you. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe. Please consider subscribing so that you can get notified, and don't forget to ring that bell, because I want you to be notified of every video that comes out from the Dollar Diva, because I want to keep you informed of what's going on in this coloring world. All right, everyone, you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of the day, and happy coloring. See ya later.